going on, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good? Nate, what's going on?
Let's go. My fault, Mark. I'm tweaking out. Get him right in here.
Gonna give it a couple minutes, y'all. Let people
Man,
join.
what's good, child? What's hopping? How's everybody's weeks been going? How's the week been going? Been flying? Mark, we're gonna get you in a second. We're just gonna start it off. We're gonna get a couple more minutes. 7:05,
Uh,
7:06. We'll get started.
yeah, bet.
Almost over. Can't complain. Feel that.
Going good. Been interviewed for a new gig. Okay, that's what's up.
Hey, okay. Let's go, Nate.
I saw
Everybody
your
getting
LinkedIn post.
interviews. Everybody getting interviews right now,
I saw your LinkedIn post about
man. Man, I already had a couple people at work ask me to asked me how to get into cybersecurity or something, and then Manny, he told him that I had the chatter, the community, and we help everybody out and we do the Q&As and stuff. He probably joined too. We'll see. Man, shout out to everybody in here. We got more joining. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Quick little.
what's going on, everybody. How we feeling? How we feeling today? What, Jimmy, what's good? All right, y'all. We gonna start in like a minute or two. He said, "Could you record it?" But yeah, record it. Hold on. Yeah, so we do record these. Um, so there's a section, if y'all didn't know, it's called live recordings. Y'all can check that out. So you can reference this if you ever miss them. We do these weekly. Just to let y'all know.
So close to making it real. Two income high.
All right, Hayes, what you think? Think we should get going?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, y'all. What's going on? Got a guest speaker today. A lot of y'all are familiar with Mark already. Uh, but for the people that don't know, he's currently an IAM engineer. I'm an IAM engineer, and Hinks is also an IAM engineer as well. This is a cybersecurity related Discord, but I'm gonna let Mark kick it off and let him introduce himself.
My fault. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, yep.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Mark. I've been in IAM cybersecurity realm, I would say, for about 6 years, 7 years right now. Um, I started off in help desk, worked my way into IAM, been in IAM pretty much since. Um, yeah,
Think you said something, bro?
Nah, I didn't say nothing.
oh, okay. That's what's up. So for the people, can you kind of explain like some like just very briefly because I know you did this last call last time we talked in it, but just give a little bit of insight of like what was kind of your journey like getting into IAM.
yeah, of course, bro. So pretty much my journey getting into identity access management was honestly me working at help desk, right? So I worked at help desk for I would say a year max. And then I just was like, there's got to be more to life than help desk, right? Nothing, not knocking anybody in help desk, but help desk was probably the hardest tech role I've ever had, right? So I was just looking at different cybersecurity roles and just different roles in general. And then I came across identity access management, working for a Fortune 500 company, and pretty much I just took a leap of faith. A recruiter reached out to me and was like, "Hey, there's a role called identity access management. Not too many people are familiar with it, but this is something that you'll be a good fit for." Me personally, I'm one of the guys that if you say, this is a good opportunity, I'm going to figure it out, right? So I'm not the type of person to sit there and shy away from the fact that I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. So I hopped in, did the job interview, killed the job interview. And when I say killed the job interview, I I didn't know what I was talking about, but I was willing to learn, right? And that's pretty much how I got into the identity access management space. And it's interesting that you asked about how I got into identity access management and just in general. Um, and I want to touch bases on that because there's a lot of people on this call or just in the world in general, they are not familiar with how to break into a specific career, right? Obviously, we don't know everything. Obviously, there's always an entry level somewhere, and there's obviously uh, a chance that you're going to have to take. Someone's going to have to take a chance on you. At the end of the day, you can't just jump into a job without someone just believing in you. But that honestly starts with you believing in yourself, right? So I got into identity access management with no certs, no degree, no real background outside of the help desk that I was in, right? And it's not traditional. Everybody's way into getting into cyber or just tech in general is always different. So I don't want anyone to think that, hey, there's this direct path of what you have to do to get into tech. Because there's really, everyone is different. I believe Hinks worked somewhere non related. I'm sure AP worked somewhere non related before he started. Everyone's career path is different. Everyone's story is different. So there's no cookie cutter way of, yeah, this is how you get into it, this is what it takes. Essentially, we all know it just takes hard work. But I do want to talk on that in particular, right? So is there anybody here that's willing to volunteer and join me? Because I have a question to ask. It's just a general question, a general interview question. Is anybody willing to hop off of mute or come up and answer one of the questions that I have?
If you want to, just raise your hand, and I'll drag the first person I see up.
Yeah, so y'all, it should be like a button, a hand button, and we'll bring you on. You can ask any question.
So it's not a hard question. I'm not going to ask you a question that you don't
Yeah,
know
you,
the answer to.
I think he's
It's just
scaring the people. They nervous. They talking about
right.
an interview question.
Yeah.
We got two people.
I got you. All right, let's see him first.
He said depends on the question. Yeah.
Welcome, brother. Welcome, brother.
What's up, man? How are you? I think he's muted.
Oh, it's push to talk. My fault.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. How y'all fellas doing?
Good, good. How you doing,
I'm
brother?
Good.
I'm chilling,
well.
man.
All right. So I have a general question for you. This is a question that you'll get on any interview. Tell me about yourself.
Well, without getting into specifics,
Mm-hmm.
I have a background in the military. So, uh, in my roots, right, my core, my entire career in the Air Force has been strictly discipline, motivation, getting after things. And I think a lot of what the Air Force has taught me has built my character overall. I see myself as a natural born leader,
Hmm.
especially now that I have roles and responsibilities and I have other people to watch out for. And a lot of what I do in my day to day job requires instruction and teaching others how to grow within our specific career field that I specialize in. And
Hmm.
so a lot of what I do day to day now is leading.
Hmm. All right, perfect. That was an excellent answer. Okay, who was there? Was somebody else that raised their hand, right?
I believe,
Uh,
yeah.
it was one other person.
Yeah, he took it off right now.
They said bro just cooked.
Nah, he did.
He said,
He
"Nah,
did.
yeah,
He
you gotta
definitely
have
did.
your, not elevator pitch, but you gotta have your pitch. Like you gotta be able to pitch yourself in a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And
You know what
this is
All
a
was
right,
hard
really
question.
good about that too? I wanted to comment on that. It didn't sound robotic.
True,
right.
It sounded like it was natural, and you
and it
just,
sounded
you
personal
know,
too. At the end
yeah,
of
it
the
was
day, you're
personable.
supposed to be personal. You're supposed to be yourself. You're supposed to, show your personality and show your likeness to them, what you can bring to them, and you gotta have that ready.
Right. And, hey, dude, I wanted to tell you that you killed that, right? All right. So
Appreciate
here's
y'all.
bas- here's what I was trying to get from that little exercise, right? A lot
I'll
of
slide it back
people they
down.
hop into interviews and they feel like it's a technical or overly technical interview, or at least the initial interview, right? But a lot of people forget that we're storytelling, right? So he hopped up here, he story told. Everybody that's ever did an interview in life, you have to go and they ask the basic question, tell me about yourself. If you cannot kill that, you've already lost the interview. Because if you cannot tell me about yourself, you can't create that picture of letting me know who you are as a person. This guy told me, hey, I was in the military, X, Y, Z, boom, boom, boom. So that creates a picture for us to know what kind of person that he is before we even know what the technical skills are, before anything, right? So I say that to say I landed all the tech roles that I landed when I didn't have the experience, when I didn't have the degrees, the this, and that, because I knew how to storytell. You have to be creative. Everybody here wants the same objective, essentially. We all want to get into tech, or if you're already in tech, you're in tech, right? But there's a difference between me. There's a difference between AP. There's a difference between Hinks. We all have a different story, right? And we're all different people. We all come from different backgrounds, but it's just you're going to have to explain it. You're going to have to tell that story. You're going to have to paint that picture. And literally that initial first question, because 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the first question. Tell me about yourself. If you literally ace that question, that will let that that question right there will let you know if you're going to continue this interview or get to the next round, or even the actual role, right? Because we all know that tech is super technical, right? But when you're working with teams, you have to be a team player, right? You got to be somebody that is willing to learn, somebody that's willing to deal with other people, somebody that's willing to lead, someone that's willing to learn X, Y, and Z. And the dude, the guy that just came up right now, and like I said, I appreciate you. You literally touched on all that. You told us you're a leader. You told us all these different things, your background, things that we can paint a picture and understand. Hey, this is what kind of guy this is. Before we know about anything technical, before we know about anything, hey, this is something that he does. This is a skill set. People don't understand interviewing and knowing about yourself and knowing how to storytell is literally a skill set that you have to learn.
Yeah.
I know everyone focuses on, oh, learn this certification, learn this, learn that. You have to learn how to storytell before you do anything. Any salesman in this world, you have to sell. You have to paint that picture like, oh, you're going to look amazing in this car. When you drive past the church, they're going to love you in this. You have to paint that picture. You have to sell yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, this is all a business. So this is something that I really wanted to touch bases on, because I feel like in this world they talk about all these certifications and all these different things when you're not even being creative. You're not being creative, and that's another thing. There's 20 something people on this call. What are you doing differently that the other 28 people aren't doing? We all can apply to jobs every single day. We can all do that. We can all essentially hop on a Discord call, right? these Hinks and AP has this available for the world to do. We all can do this, right? But there's only 28 people that are joining this call right now, right? So you guys are taking initiative to take the step and doing more, yes. But what more can you do, right? There's so much more on this earth that you guys are. I'm not going to say you guys in particular. I would just say a lot of people. They're doing what everyone else is doing. You have to be the black sheep in everything that you do.
And
Literally everything. Go ahead.
can I touch on that? Because going into that and basically, what is that extra step you're taking? Is basically what I'm getting from this. Like you said, most people don't have a community in cybersecurity that they can come to and ask things from. Correct? You guys are beating people on that front. You're beating the people that are just applying. They don't have a network of people that are seeing jobs and will throw jobs out or anything like that. You're taking that step above that. Then there's this people that are doing things like split testing resumes. They're doing a step tier above. And then what else are you doing more, right? Can you add that into cross collaboration? Because you were talking about how important it is to sell yourself and be a team player. And I always talk about, showing how you can fit with the team and basically being the piece that they need. How does cross collaboration come into that? Like how well do you have to work with them?
You really just have to work with them, just in general. Like I tell people all the time, when you go into anywhere, any team, any job, anywhere, honestly, you have to go in there and figure out where you can add the most value, right? So I always, that's my number one question. When the call is over, is there anything that you have to say, or is there anything, any questions for us? Where can I add the most value? Because that's where I want to be. I don't care about what this role is about. I don't care if there's another role that adds more value to your company. Where can I come in this team and add value personally? Because that's what I want to do when I come into your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to reverse engineer damn near everything. If I'm gonna be honest with you, reverse engineer everything. Hey, we're looking for somebody that is an amazing person, a great team leader, and this and that. Okay, well, what's a great team leader look like in a position like this? Because this is what I'm willing to do and this is what I'm capable of doing. So please let me know, what that looks like for you guys.
No, yeah.
They're
What
automatic
success?
they're automatically
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you. Say it again.
What success in this role look like? That's some question you can ask the interviewers. They'll always ask you for questions at the end. That's a question you can ask. What does success in a role really look like in the first 90 days? What is something you guys are looking to hit on and for somebody to hit the ground running on? You can always ask interviewers that. They'll always tell you exactly what they're looking for. And yeah, that's something to ask the recruiters before you even get into the technical part of the interview. Ask them that, and they'll go back to the team and describe it to the recruiter. That's one of the things. One of the ways I got help when I was prepping. The recruiters, they're giving me study help. I'll ask them for questions or anything they can bring back to me because the recruiters are trying to get you hired. They want you to get hired and them to be attached to it. So those are things that you
Right.
can do to add on to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Their job is to get you a job, right? And here's another thing that sometimes you don't wait to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I don't. Give me an
Mm-hmm.
introduction about yourself. I give you an introduction, and I sell myself, and then I'm like, but I was just wondering where I could add value with this team. I asked that way ahead of time, so that prepares me for everything else I need to know about when they're asking the next 10 questions. Now I know they want a leader, so every time that they ask me an additional question, I'm gonna make sure that me being a leader is attached to every single answer that I have. It's a cheat code. It really is. You guys aren't. I'm not going to say you guys, but the world aren't asking enough questions. The person that asks the most questions win the conversation every single time. Every single time. There's no way around it. So
AP.
when you're going into these, go ahead.
No, AP, you've been in a lot of interviews. Have you, had portions? Everybody, if you've been in an interview before, you've had these interviewers that are not prepared in the beginning. They'll take a minute or two to get their stuff together, get their notes together. During that time, ask them a question. Dig a little deep into it. You feel me? If they have you see something in the background, you see a sports jersey or something, or you see a way that you can enter a conversation, start it off quick. You gotta throw them olive branches out quickly, and see if they bite on one. One of them, they just gotta bite
Yeah.
on one.
Even if you
Talk
ain't
about
got
it, AP.
nothing else to say,
Mm-hmm.
say something about the weather. I know it's cliche. Say something about something, dog, because that can
Yeah.
lead to anything else. Like the sky being blue can lead to a crazy conversation. You got to start somewhere, and that's what I use all the time. And then for
And
the
that's
people that do know, y'all know I did record a video, and I did talk about the weather. I even talked about. He said he lives in Austin, Texas. I'm like, oh, this is meant to be. My name is Austin. If y'all don't know that, but so, so it's just little stuff like that that can spark a conversation, and it's called breaking the ice.
right. And breaking the ice is super duper important. And like you said, you can talk about anything. There's a billion things on this earth that you can just throw out there.
And
You
real
know.
quick,
Uh,
can you
Go
guys
ahead.
hear us? Sorry, I had somebody that says it sounds like we're muted. Can you guys hear us? Just give me a quick little one in the chat if you guys can hear us. If, just to make okay. Okay, so yeah. Jay, just check your settings. If you're on phone, just make sure that you change your audio output to speaker, or if you want an ear, to the regular one. I know it pops up. You just gotta swipe up on the channel, and then it should be able to see some settings for you guys. All right,
Well,
go
she
ahead, Mark.
probably
My
didn't
fault.
hear that, dog.
Yeah. Nah, but definitely the good thing all this is recorded, by the way.
It's recorded. Everything is being recorded right now. I'm looking at it. There's audio coming out of it. We good.
But
Apologies.
yeah, nah, for sure. Like I said, like you guys saying, like break the ice. I always show up early. I always show up prepared. And whoever shows up the first, who shows up the earliest and the most prepared is going to reflect in everything that you need to know as far as the interview and et cetera, right? So,
Yeah.
there's
So
a go ahead.
no, no, no. I was just gonna say, nah, AP is muted for me. I can hear everybody else.
Except for AP.
That's weird.
I can hear you fine. I don't. It might not be internet.
Can y'all hear
Check
me?
and see. Check and see. Hover over
I,
a name and right click and see if maybe it may be muted. I'm not 100% sure.
They said I can hear
They say
AP.
they can hear him. Okay, it's being recorded though. Okay, perfect. Okay,
Okay. Yeah,
you
let
good,
her know
AP?
it's being recorded in the chat. But
Please.
what I was gonna say, how about we give somebody else a shot to come on and
Yep.
do their intro or even just ask a question.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So y'all feel free. Don't be nervous, scared. You
This is
know.
do
an open
do
platform. We're all on our journey. You feel me? So just come up here, ask any
not
question you may have. Mark will provide you guys with some game.
definitely don't be nervous, right? Because like I said, the person that asks the most questions are going to be the ones that are the most successful. So not shooting anyone down for not asking, but now's the time. Now is the time because I'm gonna definitely give you answers, and I've been in probably 200 interviews. So, and not to
Seasoned.
shine and make myself seem like I'm better than what I am because I'm great, but
That's your expertise. That's your experience level. I
my
mean,
my
your 200 is your experience. That's it.
right. And
Simple.
honestly, if I'm being transparent with you, I go into interviews knowing that I'm gonna get the job because I
Yeah.
know I'm a storyteller. I know that you're not going to catch me off guard because I'm prepared. So, if anyone has any questions, feel free to hop on and ask. I mean, even if it's just regular related
I'll even throw a
question.
little something while people, when somebody wants to come up. We had a an IT luncheon at my job, and they gave they gave me these. They found this company during a conference, and they do bone conduction stereo Bluetooth headset. So it makes it like connects to your bone, or I don't know what it does, but it's not like a regular headphone. It's crazy. They were just giving these out, bro.
What the hell?
Bro,
I ain't never heard of
it's
something
called
like that.
Shocks
You
with
said
a
you at a
K.
conference?
Nah, they give the whatchamacallit. It was like basically like we do a quarterly like IT lunch where they'll get food, they'll cater food or whatever, and then they'll tell us like what the objectives are going forward for the next quarter, or what the new
Yeah.
like we had a problem basically with expressing, or at least telling the team what the next projects that they're looking to do or where they're moving toward, rather than just asking them to do tasks. So when I was on the leadership team, that was one of our problems. So now what they do is during these quarterly lunches, they're going to give the objectives going forward, or what's changing and stuff. So that's another thing. Right, so many politics on the back end too. Like I had to learn that quick. I didn't know about the committees and doing all of this, and office politics, people not liking each other, and yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I got so much. Like I got a lot of good different goodies. I got them on my table over here, but especially from the vendor we work with, uh, company. Like yeah, they give us a lot. But like even another thing. So like you can't talk tech without AI, right? So our company, so we use Copilot. Like my manager literally gets on my ass for not being. So what they do is right. So like Copilot, they can see everything you prompt and everything you put into Copilot, and they have a usage rate, and they rank them based on different people in the company, and the top three people after each quarter that have the highest usage rate for using AI to do their job or help them assist do their job get like big gift cards. Like I think last time I needed $150 gift card uh, just for using AI the most. So next time I'm gonna just start typing stuff in Copilot. Don't tell nobody though.
Nah,
It
Mark,
was
we got a
good.
question in there from Nate. Shout out Nate. He said this came up on his side the other day, but he said, "Can you speak on people lying on resumes and during the interview? How do you navigate that?" I'll tell you one thing: I wouldn't encourage just blatantly lying on your resume, like in points of you haven't, even touched the tools, you haven't done the projects, you haven't like even done what you say you know how to do at all. That's I mean I wouldn't just encourage that at all. Or you better be a great liar. You better be able to sell it crazy because I don't see it working.
Yeah, if you
So
haven't
What
done
you
your
think,
due
Mark?
diligence to like do labs, like if you
Do
don't have the skill
projects like
set for what
nothing.
you have on your
Yeah.
resume, like if your years of experience has 5 years, oh, you better be able to speak to
Or you don't
how.
have the certs and you're just
Yeah, you
saying you
better
have
be able to speak
certs.
to those
Nah.
skills that somebody with 5 years of experience do. But I
Mm-hmm.
like, and Nate, I was in your live yesterday. Shout out to Nate, and they were talking about that, and there's people that are really experienced that actually have done that, and these are like people that are like been in the industry for years and years. So I know exactly what you mean by that, and they talk about it all the time. So you just have to be able to back it up. But I don't encourage it if you know, especially if you can't back it up.
Yeah.
right. So my take on that, I'm gonna be 100% transparent with you guys, right? So say that you had a cup of juice, right? And you pour some water in it. That's still juice or is it water? It's still juice. It's just stretched out. So what I'm trying to say is even if you are working on a specific don't full blatantly lie, right? It still has to be the truth, but you can stretch the truth, right?
And
So if you've
stretching
worked
it.
on a specific technology, you've seen the technology, hey, are you a SME, a subject matter expert? No. But hey, I worked on this, I did that, that. You're given 20 different points of how you've seen it, how you've worked with it, how you've seen AP, you've seen Hinks. You can throw so many different things out there to water that down to the point to where it's just like, well, he's familiar with it. All you need to all you, Unless you're signing up for a role that is a subject matter expert in this specific tool, you can water whatever they're asking you down. But that goes back to you storytelling, right? So, for example, Active Directory. Is that a tool that everyone knows about? Sure. Has everyone used it? No.
Mm-mm.
But are you familiar with it? Yes. How are you familiar with it? Because I've seen this lab, I've done this lab, or I did this, I did that. I watched a YouTube video on this. I seen, there's so many different points. I seen it on TikTok. I seen it on Instagram. I seen it on LinkedIn. There's so many different things that you can do to water that point down to the fact that it's just like, at least he knows something about it. We don't need somebody that's an expert, right? So for me, for example, I'm not the biggest scripter, right? I'm not really big on that. But have I seen it? Yes. So every time someone asks me, hey, do you know about scripting? Yes, I know about scripting. I can modify the scripts that I previously already made. I'm not an engineer level kind of person. I haven't really started there. So I've seen the engineers, I work hand in hand with them. I modified those scripts, but I never created them from scratch. So when I say I modified those scripts, I'm watering down the fact that, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I still did it because I watered it down. I touched it, right? That's all they need to know is if you touched it. As long as you're not applying for a subject matter expert role, just tell them that you touched it. You learned about it. And these are things that you need to know prior to actually even joining the interview because these are things that are already implemented in the JD, the job description. So
Mm-hmm.
full blown lying I wouldn't say do it, but if you want to do it, do your due diligence, right? Because at the end of the day, we all don't know everything, and it's important to know that. Like, it's okay. We are human. We are not robots. We all know that there's things that we don't know. So when you don't know something, instead of lying about it, you tell them, "Hey, I don't know how to do it. right? But I've seen it, I've touched it, I've done these different things to implement myself into this particular tool, right? So don't full blown lie. Go out there and you can say that you touched it, you say you learned about it because you could have, you know. So that's what I would say about that. But
Yeah, don't be
I
green
don't know
for.
if that answered. Yeah, yeah, basically.
Someone asked
I hope that answered your
for.
question.
Yeah, and another one that somebody was talking about was their resume. They're talking about what's the best format for a resume. People are saying they've been told multiple different formats for their resume. What's the best for ATS?
So my resume format goes name at the top, city, and I always do this, right? Say that I'm from West Bubba, Texas, right? But the nearest city is Houston. I'm going to put Houston, right?
Yeah.
Because people respect the bigger cities over
Mm-hmm.
the little cities. So I don't care if you are from the littlest county in the state. You find the closest major city and you put that on your resume, right? So I'm from the DMV area. We all know that DC is going to be the most respected out of DC, Maryland, Virginia. So I'm going to automatically say I'm from Washington, DC. If you want to know more, then you ask me, hey, yeah, I'm about 10 minutes out. You know what I mean? I'll say stuff like that. But structurally, I would put the biggest city. So name, biggest city, email, phone number. And me personally, I put my skill sets first, my certifications first, and then I list my jobs and stuff like that, right? But I always list the one that is closest to the JD as possible at the top. And this is something that a lot of people don't do. They'll sit there and be like, oh, I already have a resume. I've applied to 100 jobs. You have to understand that those 100 jobs are different in different ways, right? So if you have if your role that is the most accurate, that's all the way at the bottom, closest to the role that you're trying to get, they're going to look at that last, right? So I always bring that up to the front. So I know it takes more time and more effort, but hey, who wants it? So I always do that, and this is another thing that is super duper important. So I used to graphic design, and I understand colors, right? So I highlight in blue every single keyword that is listed in the job description. So if they're looking for directory, they're looking for this, I highlight those words in my resume, just those particular words. So when they look at my resume, their eyes are going to 100% automatically gravitate to what they see in color every single time. So whatever your job description says, cool. You look at that, you list all the different things inside your resume that is closely related to it, and then you highlight in blue the things that are the closest to the job description because that's what they want to see the most. So if you're at the top and they say, hey, I want someone with the Okta certification, that's what you're going to highlight on your resume, the Okta certification. If they want somebody that's worked on PowerShell, you put it in your descriptions of your your experience. You highlight that part blue. You have to start being creative when it comes to these jobs because we all know that there's a million people applying. There's 100,000 different AI scripting tools and different things that you can do to automate this process. You have to be the human. You have to be the one that's creative, and you have to be the one that tells that story. And everything that I'm saying always goes back to telling that story. You have to tell that story every single time. I hope that answered your question.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that was solid. AP is gonna come back in here in a second. I already sent him an invite. Also, Max asked the question that basically, what like steps can he take to bolster his resume or to make his resume better than the next person, or a way he can get ahead on that.
So like I said, it's not about whose resume is the best technically.
Mm-hmm.
It's about whose resume can catch the attention the fastest. So when I say use that color thing, you're going to start seeing an influx of people responding to you because they understand, or if you understand the game of being creative and understanding that, hey, adding this splash of color is going to direct the person's eyes there every single time, right? So that's going to make you stand out 100%. I guarantee you. And I know that there's out of out of 1,000 resumes, probably two that have color in it.
Yeah. Adding color is crazy. And I didn't even think of that honestly.
So literally, hold on, I didn't mean
Is
to
there
cut you off.
specific
So
colors that you think specifically? Is it like lighter blues, or do you do a red, or what are?
so 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 I always do light blue. I mean not light blue, like a navy blue, like blue, right? So and that's just the rule of thumb, just in general. If you were to write a letter or write a note and you mail it out, you always use black, blue, red. You know, you kind
Mm-hmm.
of use those things. So those are standard. I normally don't use red because it's red is negative. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
red
Mm-hmm.
is used as a
No, blue is
negative
a more neutral and a
thing.
more like yeah, gentle color, I guess you can say. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So you throw that blue on there,
Yep.
you like the person said, the location thing is super smart. It's I'm telling you, you have to be creative. I'm not telling you to go out there and lie, but you have to stand out. And when you're applying to the next job, or when you're looking at your resume, or when you're hopping into this interview, you're not going into these things trying to be the most technical. You're not going into these things like, oh, what should I do? You need to go on these things and understand, how could I be the most creative? How could I
Mm-hmm.
stand out the most?
Mm-hmm.
So I my first IAM job, there was a senior guy. He worked in IAM for 10 years. And this was my first IAM role that I applied for. And my manager, he pulled me to he didn't pull me to the side. He called me back later that day and was like, "Man, like I chose you because you seem like you were more willing to learn. You were this, you were that, this, and that, right?" So I only say that to say I understood that there's going to be more people applying to this role, but hey, what can I do to stand out? What can I do to be more different? Because I know that on the technical side, he's cooking me,
Mm-hmm.
right? These people are going to cook me. So what can I do to be creative? So that's when I thought about, let me start adding these color splashes. Let me tell them my story about how I'm willing to learn, how I'm willing to grow, and me being young. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't do. If you don't have any experience and you're jumping into a job interview, you leverage the hell out of the fact that I don't have no fucking experience. And excuse my language, but I'm gonna let you know that now. Hey, I don't have much experience, but I'm young in my career. I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to grow, and I'm willing to scale with the company, with the team. You do not use your non-senior you just not having experience is never going to be a bad thing. When you tell that story, you paint that picture, and you let them know what you're willing to do and how being someone with less experience is more valuable, because this is where I'm willing to add value and this is where I'm willing to grow. Never go into an interview, never go into anywhere in life. I don't care where you are. You go in there with your chest up and your chest out. Your head up and your chest out. You have to be creative. You have to let them know that, hey, this is my spot. This is where I'm willing to go, and this is what I'm willing to do to get to where I need to go. It's a dog eat dog world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't let nobody take no food off my table. I'm letting you know that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order for me to do that, I got to be creative. But yeah.
Right. So did y'all
I
get?
got.
My internet had cut out. Did y'all get to the question by Pibby? Uh, I can make a resume with no experience, but with labs I've completed.
So
He talked about talking about doing labs, showing levels of experience through actually, going through labs, and just stretching basically. So stretching metrics, I would say, if you're working with, you got a P1 license on Entra, for instance, and you're doing a project and you have a certain amount of users, go to the max amount of users, go to 100 users, and then just stretch that. Like, I mean, realistically, you've done the same project, you just didn't do it at the level and scale, which is just adding more users to it. The same rules apply, the same conditional access policy is there. It's just on a larger scale for the companies. Could you add anything to that, Mark?
yeah, of course. We live in the 2020s, right? So I'm assuming that if you're applying for a cybersecurity job or a tech job, that's not your first job, right? And I only say that to say we live in a time where every job that you've ever had has technology in it. I don't care if you wash cars. I don't care if you uh, work at UPS. I don't care if you, all these different jobs have some kind of technology implemented into that role, right? And with a lot of people, and we all are on Discord. We have phones, we have computers, we have all these different things, right? So when I didn't have experience in the technical side of things, when it came to job title, I leveraged the fact that, hey, this is what I did. I worked with the POS systems. I was able to actually fix the printers. I was able to do all these different things. So once again, watering it down, stretching the truth, right? No one can sit here and tell me that, hey, I didn't fix the POS system at Nike. Who are you to tell me that I didn't do that? Who are you to tell me that we had mobile cell phones that we used to scan each people and check people out? You have to understand it. Every single job that you've ever done in your life, you just have to put it in a technical aspect. But at the end of the day, we all use tech to do the roles that we did. We grew up in school. We use computers. Like the only people that have no excuse in something that they really cannot do are people that are like 50 plus. Those are the ones that probably can't say that they worked in tech every single day for their entire lives. For the most part, anything 50 and under, we're good because we grew up on technology essentially, right? So you've had experience. You just have to be creative and explain how you use that experience and how you use tech in all your previous roles, life, etc. On top of adding those labs and all those different things,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna you can make a tech resume out of working at Dunkin' Donuts, bro.
Yeah.
Facts. And I want another thing, a gem that somebody told me about, like, the experience thing and how we're talking about stretching the truth. One thing you can do, you can have that experience section still, but just title it relevant experience instead of just saying professional experience. Just say relevant experience. So it gives the illusion, right, that you have experience in said area, but just list out your labs. So your resume has the illusion, so that gets you in the door, and then on top of that, you can speak to your skill set and your labs as well. So you're not blatantly lying, but at the same time, you're stretching the truth and giving that illusion at the same time.
Exactly. And I see a young lady here. She said, "You so use your transferable skills." Exactly.
Yep.
Everyone, like I'm telling you, there's nothing on earth right now. We cannot operate life without technology.
Yeah.
So there's nobody on earth right now that uses technology can sit here and tell me that they cannot paint a picture about how they use technology and how they fixed it.
Mm.
It's
And
impossible.
and
Factual.
and we are getting to the 40 around that 45-minute mark. We don't want. I know you gonna give us as much game as we even asked for, but just to respect your time, you know what I mean. We do have one more question. I was seeing this one. See, Ash, what's your day look like? What does your day to day look like? You know, in your duty, in your position. A little bit for them. Explain that.
Yeah, identity access management, just in general, is essentially adding users to groups, removing users to group, just deprovisioning, provisioning, and then you got the compliance side of things where you're essentially like an auditor, right? But I would say my day to day is generally just deprovisioning and provisioning because that's the REM, that's the core value of what identity access management is, right? So the best way I can explain identity access management without giving too much of my actual day-to-day operations and the things that I do particularly, but I can explain what it is. So for example, if you have Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, and you need access to Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, to do your job duties, I give you access to Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, right? But when you switch roles and if you get terminated, I remove that access, right? So essentially, I'm just granting users access and removing access. And what people don't understand is this is super, super, super valuable right now because identity is something that is needed and it's something that's never going anywhere. So if you think that AI is going to take identity access management roles,
Yeah.
no. I actually got off a phone call with a recruiter a couple days ago, and she said, "Hey, yeah, man, like we had a meeting. They pulled us aside, and there's an influx in identity access management roles. They're projecting it to grow within 40 to 50% in the next 5 years.
Mm,
40,
And
50% is crazy. Not gonna
and
lie.
because the bigger AI gets, the more they're going to need access. They're going to need human bodies to control and manage the actual identities of these people
of the
in general,
agents now.
right? And another thing I'm gonna touch on. I mean, without giving, like I said, I'm not trying to give too much about my day to day, but um, identity access management is essentially the police officers, right? So the world is forever going to need police officers to manage the world, right, or the countries, right? The keep everyone civilized, et cetera, right? So AI will never take over the police's job. AI will never take over identity access management because we are essentially the police of cybersecurity,
Yep.
right? So um, I hope that answers your question without giving up too much because
Cause
I
you
don't
see
know.
now they're starting to hire people back because AI is too expensive. These agents are costing them millions a month to run all these agents for these large corporations. They're starting to hire people back because it's going to be cheaper because of how much data they're using from Anthropic and these companies are not realizing how much it costs for all that data.
Oh,
Like it's
it's
insane.
a.
People,
I
Who
wonder.
it's
I was.
knows?
cheaper to have an employee.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was gonna touch on that. So I used to work for this company, right? And they let everyone go, right? They got hit with a big ass audit because the identity team wasn't where it was supposed to be. But they thought that, hey, AI is here, we can maybe automate the process in X, Y, and Z. And they got hit with a few $1 million, right? And there's a lot of companies out here that are not willing to take that risk. Uh, I'd rather pay an employee to sit for 8 hours a day. Not saying that everyone sits for 8 hours a day. I'm not going to discredit any IAM roles, but they would rather pay you 8 hours a day just in case we need you versus, hey, we need you now, we don't have the resources to use you, and now we just got hit by $1 million, hit with $1 million in X, Y, and Z.
Man,
So it's super duper duper important, and I you can join any cybersecurity realm you want, but I'm gonna let you know now. Identity access management is the leading. It's the growing. It's the most growing.
mm,
And what you need to have when it comes to identity access management is probably the easiest worth of skills, I would say, because a lot of those things are identity access management is like uh, help desk on steroids. It's
yep,
literally the same thing. And when you look at help desk used to be the entry level of entry levels, right? Everyone's like, oh, help desk, that's easy. Everyone can do help desk. But when you think about it, everybody can do identity access management. It's just on a higher level.
yeah.
It's the same thing. We're just at a higher level. Our job title is just a little bit more expensive, I would say. But
Nah,
it's all
yeah.
alongside the same thing.
Nah, yeah.
It's
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 all
all
good in the value of the company. That's how much they value our service. That's how much they value us, and that's how much we're worth in the company or our hourly, right? And first of all, though, shout out to Mark for coming in here, man. I wanna give Mark shout out and show some love to Mark, man. Can we get some ones in the chat for Mark, man? If y'all learned any game, y'all got anything from this, we try to
I'm put
give
a
game out.
I'm
We
put a
try to,
one.
man. Shout out to Mark for coming in here and dropping gems, bruh. He doesn't have to do this. He's doing this out of his own free will, his own time, and it's shout out to that, bruh. I'm not even gonna lie.
I appreciate you guys. I want to leave off with one more.
Yep.
Um,
Please.
it goes. So everything we've talked about at the end of the day goes back to me saying what I said in the beginning. You guys have to be creative and you got to tell that story. God put us on earth as individuals. We are all different. We just have to express and explain and let the world know who we are as individuals rather than who we are to a company, right? So I say that to say don't sell yourself as like you are somebody that just desperately, desirably needs something. Like, nah, you go in there with your head up, chest out, and explain your story. Your story is unique. Your story is important. Your story is amazing, right? We all have backgrounds. We all have different things that we went through. It's the time to be vulnerable. It's the time to be um, honest with ourselves, honest with the world. You know what I mean? And what separated me from the rest of the world, I got into identity access management at a young age. I was like 19, 20, right? And I was there with people that had degrees and master's degrees and things like that. It is 2026 and I still have no certifications. And it comes from my experience, but it also comes from me telling my story. Right. So we all have stories. And I'm not trying to sound like mushy and shit like that, but I'm going to just be 100% transparent with you guys, bro. Sell yourself. Tell that story. Tell that story. Tell that story. You don't understand. You being vulnerable will put you in a position better than somebody that's not. I'm not telling you to go in there and make yourself sound like the worst person ever or somebody that grew up in the struggle or sad or whatever the case may be. But hey, at the end of the day, nobody's taking food off of my plate. I'm letting y'all know that now. So when y'all go into it with that mindset, there's no way you'll lose. No way.
Yep.
So just remember that. Be creative. If you didn't learn anything from today, be creative, tell that story, and remember you are individually different from everybody that is applying from these jobs. You just gotta explain and let these people know how. And I'm gonna leave it with that.
Yeah. Go ahead, AP.
100. Yeah, no, I appreciate you for coming on, Mark. Like again, you always kill it. Give people the game. Appreciate you. Uh, appreciate y'all for coming out. Shout out to y'all for even coming out, sticking through, learning. Right. Everybody's on a different path, so hope everything works out for y'all. But wanted to mention this call is recorded. It's in the live recordings chat, so y'all can check that out. We usually try to get it up right after this. but you can check tomorrow. Another thing, so we have a roadmap. You can click the start here section